Hello, this is Jesse Austin sitting in for Tom Laux for this episode of Community Connections. We have a very special presentation this month. We have members of the Pittsville Area Community Theater with us today, and they're going to be talking to us about their very next production and also give us a little history about the theater group itself. But before we do that, perhaps we'd like to have the members introduce themselves to our audience.
Let's go around. We'll start with Wes.
Wes Reschel. I'm new to the area, having moved up here in November, and I was previously employed by BEDACT as an actor. So we've done Guys and Dolls and a few other productions, and I did some photography for their Always a Bridesmaid and a few other productions.
Now, BEATC?
Beaver Dam Area Community Theater.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long have you been here now?
I've been up here 6 months now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And welcome to the community.
Thank you.
And I'm Andrew Spencer. I am the director of the show that we're going to be doing here for the summer. I'm a Marshfield resident. 28 years old. This is my first time directing, so this is exciting. Had a lot of theater experience in the area. Haven't been paid for it, but this is the first. So that's fun too.
Yes, I was told that you do have a lot of experience as an actor. And,
Yes.
And so this is your first chance at directing, so we'll be talking about that a little bit later just to get your perspective on that.
Oh yes, there's so many thoughts.
My name is Alexis Redmond. This is actually the first time I've ever been part of the PACT anything.
But you do have a background in acting, though, in other production areas.
I was in an elementary school play when I was in 3rd grade. Don't remember the name of that one. It was a long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Yes.
Yes.
But you were stellar, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. And then I was also in Emma, a pop musical, last year for school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And I'm Andrew Steinert, also from Marshfield. Have had, I think now, 15 years of acting experience. Done everything except for acting at this point. Been behind the stage help, sounds, lights, sounds, pretty much everything you can think of. So.
Okay. Well, there you have the small part of the Pittsville Area Community Theater. And as I said, we're going to be talking about their very next production, which has the intriguing title of Lie, Cheat, and Genuflect. And so as the director of this piece, I was wondering if you might be able to give us a little background as to what this delightful sounding play is going to be about.
Well, Lie, Cheat, and Genuflect is a farce written by Billy Van Zandt and Jane Milmore, who are a dynamic playwriting duo who managed to pump out a whole bunch of farces back in the late 70s and early 80s. And this is one of their farces. Recent show that we had actually done before at PACT and actually again in Marshfield was Love, Sex, and the IRS, which is another one of their works. So they're known for pretty intriguing titles.
And they also, I did a little research on them. They have quite a background in themselves as actors.
Yes.
And on television and things of that nature, especially in the comedy realm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, on the Broadway version of this, they were actually doing acting in this play. So.
Okay.
Yep, that's absolutely right. So you might see the names Billy and Jane, who are actually sitting across from me. This gentleman here, Andrew, plays Billy, and this lady here, Alexis, plays Jane. So, as a dynamic playwriting duo, they definitely use their own names in this particular show, but the plot of this one is actually about two brothers, Billy and Tom Buckle, who are unfortunate heirs to the Buckle fortune, or not quite heirs. So they fall on hard times and wind up owing money to the mob. And in order to pay back a mobster named Pizza Face Petrillo, another great name, they actually have to essentially crash a will reading and try to weasel some money out of their cousin who's going to inherit everything. Winds up in a botched kidnapping attempt, and one of them winds up having to pretend to be a nun, so hence Genuflect. But with all the zaniness that goes on, it's really quite a delightful show. Wes here plays the lawyer who manages the estate, and the poor guy is subject to all sorts of shenanigans.
You've got to understand, this gentleman just graduated from law school, and this is his first case. And obviously, when you get your first case, you want to do well, and and have everybody appreciate your efforts. And he ends up feeling somewhat, how do you say, disgruntled or discouraged, because it seems like everybody is fighting him at every turn, trying to get things to go smoothly, and it's a merry chase for him to try to figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm. And you play one of, would it be polite to refer to these two brothers as being ne'er-do-wells?
Yeah, I would say Tom would be on the further spectrum of that, but Billy is, kind of as well. He's just a little bit duller and kind of a sweetheart.
More easily led.
Yes, very much so. Very easily led.
It does take two to tango, though.
Yes, it does.
He doesn't have his
Yeah.
hands, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. He's not the cleanest of fellows with that, no.
And so, as Jane, what role does Jane play in these shenanigans?
She's the one that knows pretty much everything that's going on, even when some people, including them, don't. So, I mean...
Yeah, Jane is kind of the grounding force behind the show.
Yeah.
As everybody sort of spirals into chaos around her, she is like the one character that manages to be mostly sane.
While she's poking and prodding at us.
Mostly.
And just getting her jollies that way.
So she's a little bit of an antagonist.
Oh, yeah.
just a touch.
But it's fun.
Yes, she loves every
Yes,
second of
I
it.
believe Tom would be the conniving male antagonist, and Jane would be his female counterpart.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
And of course, poor Billy is not by himself on the duller end of the
No,
spectrum.
no.
We do have a delightful character named Girl, who is played by Serena Eckes, and it's a much larger part than the name would let on. And she is sort of the female version of Billy. So you've got these two conniving between Jane and Tom, and then they got these two more. What is the polite word?
I wouldn't say, I'm not sure dull would be the right word, but
Easily led,
very
impressionable.
Yes, impressionable. Probably a good
Impressionable.
one.
There you go.
That's probably a really good word for it.
Yeah, that's it. And yes, as a couple, they are definitely very impressionable, and they even impress upon each other.
Very quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of moving parts in this piece.
There's certainly a lot of movement.
As Spencer has fun to say, it is very Scooby-Doo-esque, where things are just happening right and left, and people are going in one door, and then
Coming out a different one.
Yep, and someone's going to come out right after they leave and go, where are they?
Yes, the play is fraught with double entendres and misrepresentations and misunderstandings and
Mistaken
misdirection.
Mistaken identities.
And it's constantly trying to rectify and make this puzzle fit together. It's like a large Rubik's Cube, only you're using people.
And the pieces keep falling off as you are trying to assemble it.
So how do you as the director approach what sounds like a fairly complex piece of comedy?
Honestly, it doesn't really take that much. I think we've been really flying through it as far as getting it blocked. I mean, we finally got the whole show now completely blocked from end to end. I would say the hardest part is just making sure that we've run through it enough times that everybody knows which door they're running out of. But once we get that down, which we've got a few more weeks to absolutely perfect, this show is going to fly. I mean, it's pretty well written, so as far as that goes, blocking it really hasn't been that much of an issue. I think maybe the hardest part of the comedy is making sure that our actors are fully aware of all the double entendres that they're saying, just so that way that when they're delivering these lines, that they know what they're aiming for with the jokes that are written there on just the obvious level and then on the subtle level.
Right.
And of course, we do have some younger actors between Alexis and Jared Peters, who actually plays Tom. Our two most conniving characters are actually played by our two youngest cast members. So they
Good
kind
experience.
of
Uh-huh.
big shoes to fill for that, which is awesome. But at the same time, it feels like a little bit almost every other practice. I'm like, just so you know, this is what the joke is. So that way, and then it's like, oh.
And then the other people are like, you're too innocent to do this. Please stop.
We'll fix that.
Yes, you'll be corrupted soon enough.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I think they've done enough of that.
Their work is already done. So, this sounds, and I do want to point out to our viewers that this play is described as is packed full of twists, turns, puns, and pratfalls. So it sounds like it's going to be a real fun time for theater goers.
It's been fun enough putting it on so far. Just see
Say
when it's
every
all put
night
together.
we're doing something and we're just having a ball, we're laughing on stage, and it's like, for me especially, it's like, all right, I gotta stop laughing because I need to be able to keep it together on stage when we're performing, but it's really good.
Good.
Hopefully we run through it enough times that it gets dead to us.
We
when we're doing
desensitize
it.
ourselves
Yeah,
to it.
you desensitize yourself to it, and then of course you introduce an audience, and suddenly everything's funny again. So what are you gonna do?
But you won't be doing Harvey Korman and Tim Conway up there,
No.
cracking each other up and stuff like that.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully.
Or if we are, if you see us doing this, that might be us trying to
Pull ourselves together.
Yes, exactly.
My worst nightmare.
So the important information for the folks viewing this is when does these performances run?
Well, the performances, we've only got 4, so July 19th through the 22nd, and I believe they are at 7, 7, 7,
And then 2 on that Sunday.
Yes. Tickets are available at the door. You actually cannot reserve seats in advance. They do not do advanced seating. So you would have to, show up, buy your ticket, and take your seat. So first come, first serve. But with that in mind, we do have plenty of capacity in the Pittsville area theater. So there's not, I don't think that we're going to have
490
seats.
490 seats. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have an issue giving people seats that they want. So you should be able to show up, get a great seat that you like, and have a really great time.
Yeah. And you're taking into account the standing room audiences as well?
I mean,
We should talk to the fire department.
we can put some chairs. We got
see what the
some.
capacity is. Yeah.
I mean, hey.
We got some folding
Just
chairs.
as long
We can
as,
make
like,
it
the
work.
aisles aren't blocked.
Yeah.
And the theater, is it part of the school? Is it part of the...
Yes, if you've been to the Pittsville Theater before, or if you haven't been to the Pittsville Theater before, it is actually in the same building as the elementary school, which is connected to their main gymnasium. There's like a very large lobby between the main gymnasium and then on the other side of that the theater is. So they share a lobby. There's an entrance on one side and an entrance on the other of the lobby. There's a parking lot. If you are in Pittsville, just go toward the high school, but stop when you see the really big building in front of it, because that's where the auditorium and the theater is.
Engelman Street.
Engelman Street.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, that's the address of the school.
She goes there. She
I've
does.
gone to that school since I was in 2nd grade and I still
Oh my
don't know the exact
goodness.
address.
Did you just graduate?
I don't feel so bad now.
I'm actually going to be a junior.
Are you kidding? No, you're not kidding, but...
I'm a senior.
I feel your pain on that,
Yeah,
man.
well, the thing is, that's my major complaint about community theater is that it's got nothing but juniors and seniors. There's nobody like from 25 to 50 in the theater because they're so busy with their lives,
Hey, I'm 28.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm turning 29 this year.
We're here.
We got some of them, just not very many.
Now, I wasn't going to mention it, but now that you've mentioned your youth, this brings back memories listening to all of you talk about this experience, and you were talking about the 2 younger members of the cast having all these meaty puns and things and double entendres to share, because our youngest son Daniel, who spent much of his life here in Wisconsin Rapids, he was part of the theater group at Lincoln High School, and he also did some things with the community theater. We're located across the lobby from us here, and he had some mentors in the group who were telling him some of the same things that you were saying, that it's either you're at one end of the spectrum or the other. And so
There's just no in between.
yeah, so
We're working on it.
It's the economy, stupid.
Yeah.
but you folks have been doing these sorts of, have been putting on these, have been putting on these plays for quite some time now. So perhaps if you could go into some detail about the performing arts the Pittsville area community theater itself. If you could go into a little background about that.
Sure. I believe it was started in 2003.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's correct.
And they've had, I think, a show
Every
annually
year.
at least up through, obviously, today. I don't think that they've had a year where they've had a skip.
No.
As far as recent shows, I mean, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago? I think they did Love, Sex, and the IRS, and I was in that one.
And my first production with Pittsville was actually back in 2011 with the Philadelphia story. So,
Yeah.
And one of our cast members, Jolie Binder, has been with the theater since its inception.
Yeah.
and Randy Fox, who is another.
He's the president.
Yeah, he's the president. He's playing Pete's Space Patrol in this production.
And
awesome.
Jolie is playing the domestic Virginia.
Okay.
Love Starve's alcoholic maid.
Yeah.
Many vices.
Very interesting.
Yeah, she's quite the woman.
I think she's described as hard drinking man hunting is how.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's putting it mildly.
She's also quite the seamstress, though. She made her own costume for this production.
It is amazing.
It is amazing. I mean, when she showed up for pictures, because we had, you have to do your pictures, so you have something that you can do for promos, and she came out in her outfit, and I was like, oh my god, she looks like sexy Mrs. Potts. It was amazing.
And she put that together in like 1 or 2 nights, did too,
Yeah.
didn't she?
Yeah, she like, and the thing is, like, and that's something that I face as a challenge as a director. She came up to me, and she's got all this skill as a seamstress, and she's like, okay, so what kind of shoulders do you want? Do you want the skirt down to this length, or do you want it down to here? What kind of waistline? And I'm just like, oh my goodness gracious. I was like, so I'm just like pointing at stuff, going, give me that with that with that with that. I don't know the names for any of it, but you know what? She did it.
Yeah,
and
it looks great.
It's amazing.
awesome.
How many productions do you put on a year?
I believe PACT puts on one annually, as far as I know. I'm not aware if they do anything during the school year, but typically the production
I don't
is in the summer. So this is PACT's one summer production per year that we are doing.
Oh, this is the biggie then.
Yep, this is the biggie. I cheat in Genuflect, July 19th through the 22nd. Tickets are $10.
5 for students, yeah.
Is there a student rate?
There is.
We just want money.
But you don't want.
Yeah. There's a student rate. So $5. I believe it's $5. What does your
Yeah.
promo material say here? What does it say?
I'm hitting that somewhere. But it's as it's been described and as these wonderful folks have talked about, it's obviously going to be a very fun evening of theater. And so look forward to your being there, and I might pop in, and you might see my beaming face there as well.
Okay.
We would prefer you come.
Please.
Any individual comments any of you would like to have about the production or about working with Pittsville Area Community Theater?
I guess just that, it's a wonderful cast that we've got, we've all kind of really connected really fast, I'd say, that sometimes can, be a little bit of a barrier, getting the chemistry working on stage, but like me and Serena, it's just like, we just, pretty bonded pretty quickly, so.
Very quickly.
Very quickly.
And I've worked with Jolie before in the previous production known as Nana's Naughty Knickers. I was her landlord, she was the tenant, so, we've had some experience together before.
Pittsville's really been on a roll with those titles.
Yeah, right?
Right.
And the other thing, with Spencer and I have worked together in numerous productions, so it's
Yeah.
been easy for me to, because I kind of know at this point what he's looking for in a production, so he gives me, fine-tuning as needed, but I'm able to generally give him what he wants.
I've literally
been
only
nice.
ever met one person in this cast, and that's Jared, because we go to school together.
Okay.
But now you can't say that. You know too much about all of us now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is that the secret to a great play? 3 words? West Side Story, Guys and Dolls, and that is not and now...
Lie, cheat, genuflect, love, sex, IRS.
The only
Is that
one
the
that I think
answer?
is that breaks that rule will be Rumors, and it's a singular title.
I love Rumors.
We-
I love Rumors.
I
Neil
could do-
Simon's work is amazing.
I could do Rumors to the day I died, and I'd be happy.
Well, let's not do that.
No.
Let's not have you die.
No.
We need you for other stuff.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
save
when
it.
when you mentioned that you worked together before, and you know what he's looking for as a director, it reminded me that, Andrew, that when my first experience realizing how much a theater director, how much he impacts a production. This is a dinner theater production in my hometown, Chicago, and one of my coworkers was doing the direction, and it was a production of Jesus Christ Superstar.
Okay.
Yes, it was
Yes.
very ambitious. But as I was watching it, I saw him. It was like the way the way they maneuvered around the stage and some of the expressions on the faces, that's Larry. But it was an outstanding. It was an outstanding production. But it just gave me an insight into the influence that you have as a director on a production such as this. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I certainly hope the show has some personality.
I think it will.
Yeah, that's really just what I'm going for. That it's cohesive, that it's hilarious, that all the jokes are given their due credit, and that people walk away really having enjoyed their evening, and that they don't want their $10 back. Like, that's really what I'm looking for.
All right, so it's been a joy having all of you
Yes,
here.
thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Wes and Andrew and Alexis and Andrew.
And Andrew.
And so I have really enjoyed this conversation, and if you could give our viewers a reminder of what they're looking forward to seeing it next month.
All right, this is going to be Lie, Cheat, and Genuflect at the Pittsville Area Community Theater in Pittsville. Performances are July 19th through the 22nd. July 19th, 20th, and 21st will be at 7, and July 22nd will be Sunday at 2.
Okay, so let's keep those dates in mind, and again, the tickets are only available at
At the door.
at the
So,
door. Okay.
unfortunately, no reserved seating. First come, first serve. If you want front row, get there early. If you want back row, get there early. If you want the middle, you're probably okay.
And according to what Jeff Daniels said, remember, community theater is where it's at.
Yes.
That's right.
Hey,
Yes.
Escanaba. Okay. So this has been Jesse Austin sitting in for Tom Laux on this episode of Community Connections. Tom will be back next time, and in the meantime, look forward to seeing you out there in Wisconsin Rapids. Take care.